with very own past President Jesse Baring later on to discuss with us the topic tonight. Meanwhile, may I request everyone to put yourselves in the holy presence of the Lord as we have our invocation to be followed by the singing of the Philippine anthem and the Rotary hymn. Okay.
I'm so blessed, my Lord, I can see you in all the lovely things so fine and true. I see you in the beauty of the flowers and the rain. I see you between the lines of a sweet refrain. I'm so blessed, my Lord, I can see you even when I'm lonely and in pain. I see you in the beauty of the stars at night. I see you in my life, I feel alright. I see you, Lord, in sorrow and in happiness. I see you in the glory of sweet success. I see you, Lord, every hour, every day. I can see you, Lord, whenever I pray. I'm so blessed, my Lord, I can see you in the smile of a baby, sweet and true. I can see you in the eyes of my very best friends. I see you in these bonds, just like your love that never ends. I see you, Lord, in sorrow and in happiness. I see you in the glory of sweet success. I see you, Lord, every hour, every day. I can see you, Lord, whenever I pray. I see you, Lord, in sorrow and in happiness. I see you with the glory of sweet success. I see you, Lord, every hour, every day. I can see you, Lord, whenever I pray. I pray. I can see you, Lord, whenever I pray. I see you, Lord.
Bayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, buyak ka ng magiliw, sa manlulupi, kita masisingil, sa lagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo bahaw, ay ilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang tinawaan. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y nagumpay na nagiging, ang titular ng pagkayan shall serve my community, help achieve universal unity. I shall dedicate my all. World understanding shall be my cherished goal. With a four-way test, I'll pursue my quest, giving my little way help attain. Peace in the world, I shall not have lived in vain. Service above self, lend a hand to all who need my help. I'll give my spouse to involve in Rotary, and in Rotary ways I will train my family. With a four-way test we'll pursue our quest, giving our little way help attain. Peace in the world, we shall not have lived in vain. Build a bridge for tomorrow's youth, strengthened by nothing but the truth. Let's join our hands, there's no reason we'll divide. We shall all understand why the good Lord is our guide. Wait us, we'll pursue our quest, giving our little way of the day. Peace in the world, we shall not have lived in vain. Peace be achieved, we shall not have
The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as the basis of worthy enterprise, and in particular, to encourage and foster. First, the development of acquaintance as an opportunity for service. Second, high ethical standards in business and professions, the recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Third, the application of the ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal, business, and community life. Fourth, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional persons united in the ideal of service. Rotary Club of Cebu Fuente. Vision. We see people of action cultivating fellowship, integrity, excellence, leadership, diversity, service for everyone, every day. Mission statement: high impact leaders helping humanity.
Good evening, everybody. This is the month of April. Our next is to introduce our fellow Rotarian. Let's welcome Club Admin, Stephen Uy.
So for the Rotarians who are present in uh, Casino Espanol, we have President Burns Amago. Director for Community, Jason Ong. Uh, Past President, Doc Elaine. Hi. We have President Designate Nominee Jomar Ponce. President Nominee Jomar Ponce. We have PDG Gov Yumi. We have CICO Tope Legunas. We have Treasurer June Torres. For those who are in Zoom, we have Assistant Governor Maricel B. Amores. We have Past President Jesse Baring. We have Deputy Membership Cedric DiPerini. We have President-elect Polly Jiang.
Hello.
Ma'am Inday Rimas. We have Rotarian Tutsi Spaller. I think these are all that na-mention.
Thank you, Club Admin. To introduce our guest speaker for tonight's activity, please help me welcome our Rotarian, Inday Rimas.
Mute. Mute.
You're on mute.
You're on mute. Mute.
Nakamute ka?
Okay.
Sorry. Is that okay now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Okay na, Day.
Okay na. Okay. Graduated from the University of San Carlos in 1981 with a degree of chemical engineering. 30 years old and a recognized ASEAN engineer. He made a career in environmental field doing environmental impact assessment, designing of pollution control facilities, particularly on wastewater and sewage treatment facilities. He is an inventor, foremost of which is his rotating biological conductor packed media technology. He has a lot of other inventions. He is a trainer and facilitator for pollution control officers, training, wastewater treatment technicians, and principal training specialist for Fast Lab Institute. Apart from being an inventor, he is a swimmer, triathlete, and a poet. Fellow Rotarians are very on Rotarian PP Giselito Jesse Baring.
Thank you, Inday, for that introduction, generous introduction, and good evening, everyone. I've been absent for some time because of busy schedules, but I have to present this one. It's just a short presentation. So the pandemic taught us how to record and just record our speech instead of actual speech. So I will just be presenting my recorded video. Just a while ago, I have recorded it and then I will present it to you, and then after the video, I will just ask some question. Can you share the screen, or can I share the screen, Tope?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I should have gone to the casino because I also miss everyone, especially that unopened bottle in front. Ano nga ba naablihi? Anyway, I wait for, I can share my screen, okay. So I will have this presentation already. So, okay. My title is Water Resource Sustainability. So here it is. Hello and good evening, fellow Rotarians. Our topic for tonight is water resources sustainability, and we all know that water is for life. Few years ago, we have enjoyed 24 hours of water supply in our faucet, but lately we have already experienced rationing, and some of us may have to wake up at dawn, have some water, and we have also a big issue during Odette, wherein we have experienced long water shortages, and how many of us have managed and used to take a bath with a few or 2 or 3 tables of water only. And now we have to take a deeper look on this issue, and let's examine why we are in this situation. The water cycle, consisting of evaporation and precipitation of water, have provided a natural source. This water will be stored in the watershed and aquifers. These are the natural storage that is defined by the topography and geology of the earth. Even with these resources, that is where we get our major supply of water. Basically, we have abundance, and in that abundance, we have also a lot of abuses that have been done in such a way that the opportunity to utilize it for human consumption is being reduced. I would say that the use is inversely proportional to abuse, meaning that we have a lot of abuses done to our natural resources, then definitely we will have smaller opportunity for our utilization of the source of water. For a long time, we have not explored other opportunities or resources because of the abundance that we're having, and that we have limited ourselves to the existing resources that we have. And therefore, since resources is not unlimited, then we are now experience a big challenge to find that source of water that is clean and useful for human. So in here, we will look at our current situation here in the Philippines and in Cebu, and then we will compare it with other countries' best practice and see if we will or we can learn from their experience. As mentioned in the previous slide, there are 2 natural resources that we're having, and that is the watershed and the aquifers. And from that water resource, we have tap the groundwater and the surface water. For Cebu alone, we have 90% utilization of the groundwater, and we have only 10% for the surface water. While in Luzon, they are supplied through the surface water, and that's why they have lots of big dams. But it seems that the current policy has not moved so much to be able to identify or implement major water resources that can be used for water supply. The third source that have been mentioned is the rainwater, but however, it is still occupying minor role in our water supply, and specifically in Cebu City, there is a local ordinance for the construction of rainwater tank to collect rainwater. However, utilization site is not part of the legislation and such. Some of the water tanks or rainwater that is being constructed in the buildings remain unutilized, and there is no direct connection to augment regular water supply that is coming from the groundwater or surface water. One of the biggest issue of the groundwater supply is pollution. Although we have the Clean Water Act that is passed in 2004, but its implementation is still very minimal, and that pollution and contamination to the groundwater is still real, whether it is open bottom septic tank or overflow from the septic tank to the river, and this river recharge the groundwater and also contribute to the contamination, which is a real situation in our surroundings right now. Knowingly or unknowingly, we are actually using contaminated water from the ground. And that is why if you ever smell or take notice of a water coming from a well, you will have noticed a distinctive smell of the water, and that is because of the contamination. One of the current activities that is being done by the water district is the bulk water supply. So they transfer the responsibility of looking for sources of water to the private sector through the bulk water supply contract. However, I feel that this is not sustainable. We should have a massive water resources project so that we could supply the next generation. Although we come from the pandemic and buildings are still empty, but once we are back in full blast, then we will experience again more water shortages and so much more when those buildings that are under construction will be finished. Just imagine that for one condominium unit, we could assign 1 cubic meter per day. And so therefore, if we have 500 units in one building, additional 500 cubic meter per day for one building. And if you have 10 buildings, then you will have 5,000 cubic meter additional supply. Where will we got that supply? And who will suffer? We, the consumer, will be the one who will suffer because we will be getting the rationing. So my question is, shall we continue with this kind of situation? How do we act on this, and that we can ensure that we will have ample and sustainable water supply in the future? For the small island of Singapore, definitely there will be minimal natural water resource. In previous year, they have relied on importation of water from Malaysia, and then eventually they have to make their own water resources and make it sustainable. In our country, we have the natural groundwater tanks, which is called the aquifer, while they have built underground rainwater collection tank to store the rainwater whenever it comes. I talked to one Filipino teacher, and she said that the children have not seen a flood water or do not know how what flood look like. Also collected all their wastewater through the deep trench tunnel that runs across Singapore and collect all the wastewater generated by each establishment. They are famous for reclamation of water from wastewater. And thirdly, they also engage in desalination of seawater to become potable water. And whenever there are lacking, then still importation from Malaysia is the last option. Here we have seen that water resources can be built And we just have to have a good policy so that we will have focus on this very important item for living, that is water. And when you say policy, it is related to governance, and that governance should focus on this very important issue. Back to our current situation here in the Philippines, we have experienced a lot of water rationing already. From a 24-hour supply, we are reduced now to few hours of supply of water, and we have adapted to that. Are we okay with that? And this rationing will become worse as development such as those buildings will continue. And without new water resources, then definitely the water from our tap will become less and less. Currently, the water district is to tap bulk water supplier to supply them with needed water. They have transferred the responsibility of looking and developing water resources or source of water to the private companies, but not privatization, just like what happened to MWSS. So it's like a mestizo approach. While we hear in the news that they are embarking into desalination through bulk water supply from private provider, then we should know that desalination is a very expensive process. Definitely the cost of our water will increase. That's for sure. Rainwater collection is relegated to washing for cleaning water. They are not really considered as a major source of water supply. Unlike those in the islands, maybe this could be a major source, but for here in the city, this is not yet the case. Although again, I mentioned that there is already an ordinance for rainwater cistern in buildings, but utilization is not yet fully done. For me, rainwater collection is a big potential for the water supply, and so therefore we should focus our attention or at least have a major activity on rainwater collection, not just be relegated to a minimal role. Our national election is coming soon on May 9, and there will be election of presidents, and one of the major platform that is needed to be discussed or brought about is the water shortage. In fact, in last night's debate is the topic for the water shortage on what the candidate will be doing to solve this crisis and problem. And I have take note of the answers of the candidates because it will have a major impact on the issues and subject that we are discussing right now. And here we have 5 candidates that express their ideas and opinion on this political issue. 3 of the candidates have been given 2 minutes, while 2 is having shorter time on rebuttal. These are what I got from each of their statement. And for Isko Moreno, he mentioned about continuation of the watershed management. There is already a program with the DNR on this issue, and some of the water group activists. And he also espoused for suspension of land conversions. Then the next candidate is Norberto Gonzalez, who mentioned about repairs of water pipe, water supply, and this is very specific to Metro Manila. And that 50% of the water is reduced through leakages and old pipes. And he mentioned about planning. Antilo Lacson, the third of the 2-minute time, is espousing about utilization of rainwater and increase on R&D, research and development, to develop technologies for this issue. And Manny Pacquiao talked about Department of Water in addition to the bureaucracy. And Lenny Robredo's rebuttal is on water resources management, and they mentioned about pushing for mega project water resource implementation. A very specific answer to the questions. All other answers are very general. And so with this discussion in the debate, we hope that the next president will really focus on providing the new water resource that is needed for the supply of our water, both for human and for agricultural uses. And we hope that this is not just the tip of their tongue, since we have some other issues in governance that might affect the implementation of this subject. In closing, I would say that water resources is not just about water supply, but also on taking care of the discharges, the sewerage, and the wastewater, because we cannot really attain a good water resource without taking care of the dirty water that we are drawing. And as I said, if we do not concern ourselves with wastewater or sewerage, then we are reducing the opportunity for usage of the natural water resources that we're having. There should be a balance between the input and the output, and that responsibility is given by law to our water districts, and they should be able to comply, and that our Clean Water Act should be fully implemented, particularly in the new or incoming administration, that this law is already 18 years old, but still implementation is minimal, and that we are experiencing a lot of contamination, and unknowingly we are already taking or drinking our own wastewater that is contaminating our water resources. And thanks for listening. So, thank you for listening, and that's all for my presentation.
Hello, good evening. Open for questions and hello. Any questions? AJ Maricel.
Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. My question to you, thank you very much. That was a very beautiful and wonderful explanation of our water resources, but still the problem is water. The scarcity or crisis of water supply, as well as quality of the water, perhaps due to poor water waste management, lack of political will. I think perhaps in Cebu City has been a perennial problem, and we always have short-term solutions. Engineer Baring, what are the long-term remedial measures which is realistic and doable? What do you think?
Again, I mentioned about rainwater collection because if you remember when we go to Taiwan, we flew over some catch water. This is like a lake, a pond. So if we just do that, then collect water in that sense, that's cheaper to have, because it would supply water at the same time, give livelihood to the farmers and to the people in the rural areas. Also, we have lots of space that we have, no. We have open spaces. If you just like, for example, take for example 1 hectare of land, you have you put up a fence or something like a barrier, and if you have completed that one, it could be an open tank already, a pond, and that will already contain 10,000 cubic meter of water already. 10,000 cubic meter if it's full. So if you have a lot of that, we have open spaces, and then water is gold, and it's not just you collect water; it's money that you are collecting. So right now, if you when rain comes, it falls into the ground, then the money becomes a stone because you don't use it. But if you collect it into even just a pan, then we can have a lot of water supply.
Mm. Okay,
So
but so you're not everybody can afford to have a tank and all that in their land, no? So you're probably asking that for the government to do that.
actually, the bulk water supply project could be doing that because it's a private company initiative, and that it will just be linked to the MCWD. But and then you just have to work with the water district and supply the water to them. As long as you can sustain your supply, then water district will agree to to the water supply or to the water that you are supplying. But in terms of the bigger plans, we have open spaces that the government owned, and like Singapore, they build up underground tanks. We could do that because that's cheaper than having the desalination process, because uh, in desalination process, the cost of power per cubic meter is 3.5 kilowatt. And with that alone, you have already, how much is the power now? So that's 13 pesos or 14 pesos. So that's that 3.5, that will be about 40 to 50 pesos for power alone. And then, so the water will cost about 100 pesos per cubic meter plus the profit. So it's very expensive to engage into desalination. So it's better to collect rainwater. The rainwater is free as long you have maybe a big first cost for the construction of the tank, but again, it will cost less for the consumer later.
Okay, so that's your long-term solution for water in terms of quality as well as quantity, right? Am I correct, Engineer Baring?
Yes, at the same time, you have to clean up the water because when you have underground tanks, then if you don't clean up the water, it should be done together. So, like Singapore, they have collected their wastewater and treated it well, and then collected the rainwater. So it should be. It's not. It's like if we do not clean the wastewater, it's like having a road without a drainage.
Okay, that's. Thank you very much. That's my question.
Any more question? We recognize past district governor Yumi Espina.
Okay. Past President, I agree that I think rainwater harvesting is the key, no, towards reversing this trend, because you mentioned earlier that there's bulk water uh, suppliers now. Ako kay nag-effect, no? There's a very big effect on the over extraction of our aquifer. And then kanina bang over extraction ng aquifer, the danger there is saltwater intrusion, which is in the long term becomes irreversible. So kuyaw kayo na all of our aquifer will be salty, no, in the near future kay grabe naman kayong extraction. So karon sad ang climate change, sige nag-uwan, di ba? Experience ka Cebu, even now it's already summer but it's still raining, no, some parts of the even this month of April nag-uwan pa. Okay, so rainwater has a very big source ba of recharging our aquifer. Ang problema gud sa rainwater harvesting is the cost of building a tank. Kining tangke god, kung gusto gyud ka mo supply the whole year round, dako kay imong tangke. And then if it's overhead para diretso gravity, mas expensive pag yun kay dako kaya niya ato si babaw. So the more logical thing is to build underground, diba? Or on the ground. But it is also expensive because the tank is very big. Pero ang problema gyud, it's not really using rainwater but recharging the aquifer. So how do we address that? Because nobody is addressing aquifer recharge. It's all discharging the aquifer. So I think a big role of government ba is to recharge the aquifer. Now I was in one of our developments, I built a large water tank. Pero ang problema ko, pagkapuno na, labay na mas drainage. So I was thinking of reverse wells, no? Reverse wells kanang paghimo kag well nga instead of drawing out water, excess water from your tank will go in. No? Maka-store ka up to a certain point nya ang sobra imong ibalik sa aquifer. So I was thinking is that safe in the first place, or can that help in the recharge of our aquifer? That's my question.
Yes, thanks, Yumi. Actually, yes, it can help, but we have to remember also that the contamination that we're having. So we have septic tanks as of the moment that are overflowing, and when you recharge to the aquifer and you are recharging dirty water, so it's not it defeats the purpose, because if you look at the rivers now, most of our rivers are contaminated or polluted. So these rivers are the source of the recharge to the aquifer. So one thing is, if we have to do that, it should be a parallel approach to do that. We have to clean up the water first, and then also recharge the aquifer, because it's useless to recharge the aquifer and not cleaning up the river, because the river is the major recharge point of the aquifer. And that the recharging that you have mentioned is more of a pocket recharging. So it could be possible, but still it would still meet the contamination that is moving around. So we have to also to see to it that the waste that we are already discharging will have to be cleaned up before it reach to the river or to our water bodies, because with it will really defeat the purpose. So that's why at this point in time, with very minimal implementation of the Clean Water Act, then what we have to do is direct, or that's why I said that we have to have a direct parabang south sa uwan approach of PAN, because if we have to use the natural tank that we have, then we will be challenged with the contamination of the rainwater, or the contamination that we're having from our waste disposal system.
Ako lang kung the role of recharging the aquifer should lie with government. So like for example, MCWD, ilaw ang tanang role to recharge the aquifer ba. So if they can build large tanks, daghan man gayang possibility, like ilaw sa basketball courts, no? Dako kay ng basketball court, but there's no use ba ang underground na could be recharging tanks, but that should have been controlled by MCWD. Kung naasod ang tangke, ang pipe katong reverse well sa kung naasod sa tangke ba, so limpyo man ang tangke, so gikan siya sa tangke, musud siya sa pipe, ikapuno musud siya sa pipe, di ba? Overflow siya ba, but it charges the aquifer. But mo na akong ingon, to be safe ba, it has to be controlled, dili bisang kinsa kay reverse well. So I think that should have been the role of government ba, or MCWD, to create these things. Kay ato sige lang sila baliktad ba they are discharging bulk water system na ilang gibuhatron instead of recharging the aquifer. We had a proposal before, remember, sa Rotary pa katong mga rivers, no, namatay river na kanang Mananga for example, but Mananga River starts with small tributaries, mga creeks ana. Why don't we dam these small tributaries from the upper portions of the hills until the dams become bigger, no, as it goes down and dako namang tubig. Pero dito pa sa ibabaw, mga mga school, mga estudyante ba, bato raman na ilang i-dam ba to delay the water flowing towards the sea. Kung pahinayon lang na nimo, di mo recharge gina siya naturally, di ba? So
Yes.
small ponds from the upper portion of the hill all the way down. Kaya ang naug na gusto, dam nga dako kayo. Of course, expensive kay na. Pero kung gagmay pero daghan, tingali makakuan ka, no, address ka ng kuan. All you have to do is slow down the flow of water. So that should have been kining tanan ba should have been an initiative of government. But sometimes no, di man maminaw gud. Ato naman ang gisuggest sa una. Wa gyud na buhat.
So which government office should handle this?
FCW, I don't know. So Cebu,
Well, MCWD.
MCWD.
Is a district form, no? So one is controlled by government, is run privately. So is that also part of their commitment to the NGO? And then they're also having problems now with so right. They're not doing so well in terms of
That's why,
infrastructure.
because-
So if not MCWD, Sir Bugyong, Sir Jessica can also address this. Is there any other office? that we can
Daghan man na
relate
just no, I don't know which office.
Because
Actually, the office, there is an office, the NWRB, the National Water Resources Board, that oversees all the water resources. So that's the government agency. Again, I agree that's why I mentioned governance, because governance is the end of, or will have to sadyo magsugod for these water resources to be sustainable.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Our city has a local ordinance that each building, new building should, or residential or commercial should have a rainwater tank. Now, the way I look at it, something is wrong with this policy, this ordinance. This ordinance was made to ensure that we prevent flash flooding. In a big downpour, all the waters are contained in the rainwater tank before we discharge it to the storm drain. Now, with this, I asked the office of the building officials, why do we have to seal the bottom of the rainwater tank? Why do we have to waterproof it? Maybe if we put gravel bed, it is one way of recharging the water table. And they won't agree on it. They told us you have to seal it, you have to waterproof it, and then you just contain the water for a while. And then if you want to use it, you have to pump it out. Then you use another consumption, electrical consumption. So why not design it in such a way that it will recharge the aquifer? So
Yeah.
something is wrong with our local ordinance that it was, I think it was made during the time of the earlier part of Mayor Tammy Osmeña. And the concern at that time was for flash flooding. That's all. But now we have flash flooding, at the same time, lack of water resources. So we have to change the design of the the rainwater tank. So that's my comment.
Okay, I think that's a good suggestion, June, because that is a way to recharge the aquifer to if you don't close the bottom and put filter gravel on it. So, but then again, it's governance. So we hope that, as I mentioned, that with the new governance coming, hopefully there will be change really to for that, and we could look into it. And we just hopeful. We're just hopeful because that's what we will be having. Maricel is asking about what is an aquifer. Aquifer is I said it's a water tank. It's like a water tank. No, but not the square and rectangular tank, but it's just a container in the earth in the ground. So it's what it is an aquifer.
Where water is stored underground. Underground. Now there is a move. I was part of the team who actually reviewed contracts for desalination projects. It's already approved and it was actually signed in the city of Mandaue, considering that Mandaue has no source of water but just the sea. So, and you were right, Sir Jesse, when you said that it will be expensive. And I've seen the tariff. It really is more expensive compared to the current rate of water. So,
Yeah.
in like Mandaue City, Sir Jess, where there is no option for other source of water than the sea, is there any other way that they could have sourced water?
Actually, if as an LGU, um, they could source water because they have also a mountainside, no? So they could have tanks again, but uh, the groundwater of Mandaue as wala na nada na siya, so you cannot hope for that. And then they have to collect water or rainwater directly. And because if you look at even how expensive the tank, if you install a water tank underground, but in the end it will pay for a long, or if you compute, I think in business sense it will be more cheaper in the end, because in the desalination is I think the cost will not be lower than 100 pesos per cubic meter. That's very expensive. Right now, we only pay how much? 30 pesos per cubic meter. So that's already a difference of 70. And depending, that's in the bulk water supply, the water district will compute for the costs that the private company incur, and then they will put up a certain percentage. I think 12.5% or 15% over that computed by the private sector. And so at most the cost of water will be at that amount, and then it will be divided among all the consumer. So for Mandaue, because there is a water district, they have to rely on the water district for the supply. So it is the water district who will really find the water source. But right now, what happened is the water district is really transferring their responsibility to the other side. That's why although the water district is supposed to be the in charge of the treatment of water, right now they circumvent the law by having this septage treatment instead of sewage treatment. Because septage treatment is this suyup-suyup, the Pozo Negro thing, the sludging every 5 years, and that will not help for the clean up. So it's just circumventing the law of the Clean Water Act.
Well, the aftermath of the typhoon has made us realize the inefficiency of MCWD in terms of supplying water after a disaster. So, Sir Jess, based on your personal assessment, what could be improved by MCWD in terms of their services in view of what happened during the typhoon Odette?
For that, they should have a lot of standby generators, because the problem that happens is about water electric supply. So they should have a lot of standby generator to operate pumps, because the typhoon did not damage the water system. It's just the power line. So right now, they are very dependent to the supply of power from Beko. So if ever Beko will have no power, then we'll have no water. But if they will have a lot of these standby generator, big standby generator that can operate the pumps, then we'll have no problem even if there is typhoon.
Well, they were the first ones to be given the electricity. That's why in the area where they have supposedly their watershed, like the one in Talamban, they were lighted first. And still, they are not able to supply water to move.
Yes, but again, if they have the standby generator, the next day they could already pump water.
But with that,
Unless
do
there is
you think there's an issue with their pipes or with any of
no, there's no issue in the pipe. It's only in the water power supply. So you just have the standby generator and then let the pump move. Then okay, we have water.
Thank you so much, Sir Jess. There any other questions?
Any questions, please? Here in Casino, no more question
Yeah, how about
from our
Zoom
Zoom
participants?
participants. No more questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Before to the presentation of the certificate of appreciation to our President Burns Amago. We'll read na lang. Certificate of appreciation is hereby presented to Joselito V. Baring, past President, Rotary Club of Cebu Fuente, for his invaluable time and expertise as a guest speaker at the 25th Rotary Club of Cebu Fuente General Membership Meeting, given this 4th day of April 2022 via Zoom. Signed, Secretary Jose Marie Ponce, our President, Attorney Bernardino Amago IV.
Thank you, Sir Jess.
President's time, any updates?
Thank you, Secretary Jomar. So we have had a lot of good news for most of our members in Rotary Club of Cebu Fuente. So a few weeks ago, we've congratulated PDG Yumi Espina for his appointment as chairman of the local tollway board here in Cebu for the third bridge that connects Cebu City to Cordova. Also, we congratulate past District Governor Mary Ann Solomon for her appointment as a member of the End Polio Plus Committee. And in his own career, also past President Sol Pason was appointed as a general manager for Cebu for Casino Filipino. And also soon, it will become official, past President Radi Abarintos was also promoted as Assistant Deputy Collector for Assessment. Okay, so a lot of good things, a lot to be grateful for our RCCF Rotarians. Now, there is an invitation to partner once again with the Integrated Bar of the Philippines for their Grand Legal Aid Day on April 8, 2022 at Plaza Sugbo, which is just in front of the Cebu City Hall. I know that there are still some items that we can distribute from the one of the spaces owned by past President Jun Torres. Can I'm sure the soy sauce and the vinegar can be distributed during the Grand Legal Aid Day. But I'm just wondering if we can also distribute the relief goods from the district, the one that you were able to collect, AJ Maricel. Was that a what was banig?
Yes.
Was that a
I
mat?
don't know what's inside. I think it's a plate kanang mats bitaw, but according to me, she got mats. But just check. Yeah, you can give it.
Actually, the beneficiaries of the Grand Legal Aid Day are residents of Cebu who were also affected by the typhoon.
Yeah.
Diao Group actually are the ones catered
Yes.
primarily for this legal aid work.
Yeah. You're the president. You should be free to already
So,
distribute, allocate it where to go.
application or area where those items are supposed to be distributed, we can distribute them. 'Cause the earlier we distribute, the better also for our accountability. So we can distribute it also on April 8th. And it's very the area of the project is very accessible to our members. So if you I would like to invite everyone to please join us on April 8th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you can just go earlier, it's a Friday. So if you can just visit the place, be there, we stay there for about an hour, that will do. Better if we can all be in one group at a certain time. Let's wear our Rotary shirt at work shirt, the blue and yellow one. Okay, so I will see you there then. Okay. Another also this Wednesday, with the help of our director for community service, we'll be turning over the paint to the Rotary Club of USC chapter. At 8:30 a.m., we will be convening at the showroom of Treasure Island at AS Fortuna. So if you can pass by to join us in the actual handover of the this Wednesday, it is April 7, April 6. Okay. Morning 8:30 a.m. April 6 at AS Fortuna Treasure Island showroom. Yes, let's use our N polio shirt, the red one, okay, for this activity. Also, Director for Club Administration, Stephen, has some announcement and invitation to all of us. Here, Stephen, so you can use the mic.
So I want to invite everyone to our webinar, which is on Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, which is about good governance for family businesses. So if you could attend, I'll send the link and the picture in our Messenger and Viber. Okay.
The event is called.
The event is called Cohesions, Recovery, and Growth in the Family Business. So harnessing the power of family unity, professionalization, next-gen leadership, and strategic navigation in the new economy. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Director Stephen. So for those of you who have family businesses, this may be a good opportunity to learn more about planning your family business. Sir June, do we have any updates on our collection or anything else? Okay, there's not no announcement. Do we have any other topics from our participants from the Zoom? Anything that you would like to share? Maybe I would like to share that that President-elect Polly Jang will soon be in Cebu on April 15, barring any untoward incidences. Cedric, are you back in Cebu? Eman. So Cedric, are you here in Cebu already? Okay. So if there are no other matters to be discussed, what? Huh? Okay, yeah. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you, God. Yes. On April 9, at 6 p.m., let's make it early. We will have a fellowship dinner with Governor Ana Luisa Bumagat. We can decide, if you can help me decide on the venue. She will be billeted at Golden Prince Hotel. So if we have actually two options, we can hold the activity here in casino, or we can hold it at Golden Prince. But me personally, I would like to hold it here in casino because I want everyone to meet for the first time back at our original home. So you can all be here in casino also. It's going to be a face-to-face fellowship event. So if I can get your confirmation for attendance, so we can also budget the food and we can also prepare the venue. Okay, so let's have a, we will make a poll. Tope, you can make a poll at our group chat. It's possible, right? We'll have the list na lang. You can bring your family if you want. Okay, feel free, your spouse. You can even bring your children if you want. Okay. It's going to be. It will just be an evening of fun and games.
So, casual lang tayo.
Yeah, casual. Wear whatever you want to wear. It's going to be a Saturday anyways, and also this should be in lieu of our April 11 meeting. So please do attend. Yes, Holy Monday also, so you'll be prepared for the Lenten week. No meeting on April 11. We should also give time to our April hosts to look for a speaker for the next general membership meeting. As agreed with the members during the previous meeting, we're already implementing a blended meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. For those who would like to join the on-site meeting here in Casino, we are occupying currently the Locinea room, but if there will be more than 10 of us, then we will be expanding to Don Quixote. Okay, but meanwhile that there is no confirmation of more than 10 participants, then we can continue to keep just the Dulcinea room. Okay. We'll continue to make the virtual attendance an option, as there may still be others who are not yet comfortable meeting face to face. Pe, if you can also refresh us on the dates for this task, which will be in Gensan, that would be on April 22 to 23. President-elect Polly Jang, Secretary-elect Tope, and I will be going. So if there are others who would like to join, okay, we have past President Elaine, who is also going. So who else would like to join? Please inform us. So maybe we can be billeted in the same hotel. Also on May 28 and 29, 27 and 28, I'm sorry, will be the Discon at Ormoc. We should go May 27 to 28. Yeah, let's attend. Let's just have fun. Let's just have fun. Okay. 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 Tupe will be posting in our group once again the important dates to remember. So on our next general membership meeting, since Polly will already be in attendance, maybe we can give the floor to President-elect Polly for the planning of his induction and handover ceremonies. It should be a right time to start discussing it. So we can start early. So just a reminder to everyone, before the Rotary year ends, please pay your dues. Please settle all your dues. Okay, that's it. Unless there are others who would like to discuss something. Because if there's none, okay, so no one signifies now any matters to be discussed. So there being no other matters to be discussed, I hereby call this 25th General Membership Meeting adjourned. Fellowship continues.
Gablihan na dok, okay? Kaning na datang mapriso no, pag magpapriso na lang ta pirme. Yung anak ko inigapisa na maybe.
Waiting kami. Gasabit na